Ever feel like you're on the verge of something big?
But the thing holding you back
Uh,
isn't a lack of
yeah,
skill.
totally.
It's you.
It's like you're getting in your own way, right?
Exactly.
That's what we're diving into today,
the sneaky ways ego can sabotage us.
and how to keep it in check.
It's funny.
Yeah.
We often think of ego as this driving force,
Yeah, pushing us forward.
but what we're going to unpack here
Okay.
is how it can actually be our biggest roadblock,
Especially when we're just starting out.
especially when we're starting to chase a dream.
Ooh, yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah.
To help us navigate this, we've got Ryan Holiday's Ego is the Enemy,
A great book.
packed with stories from historical figures to modern-day folks
That show how taming ego is essential.
to reaching our full potential.
And we'll be taking a deep dive into those examples.
Love it.
And most importantly, how they apply to you.
That's the key right there.
Whether you're aiming for that big promotion, launching a project,
Yeah,
or just trying to level up in life.
I like that.
This deep dive will give you some solid takeaways
Okay.
to keep your ego from running the show.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
All right.
Holiday breaks down ego's impact into 3 main phases:
Okay.
aspiring, succeeding, and failing.
Makes sense.
And that first phase, aspiring,
Mm-hmm.
that's where things get interesting.
It
It's
is.
a time when we're full of energy
Yeah,
and passion,
definitely.
but maybe also a little naive.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is prime time for ego
Oh, yeah.
to kind of rear its head.
To come in and whisper those sweet nothings,
Oh,
telling
yeah.
you you're already amazing. Success is a done deal.
Done deal.
You deserve a standing ovation before you even step on stage.
Oh, I know that voice so well. But Holiday throws us a curveball here
Right.
with a powerful antidote. General William Tecumseh Sherman.
Okay.
Now, this guy was a legendary Civil War general
Mm-hmm.
known for his military brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually avoided the spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So what's the story there?
Well, what's fascinating about Sherman
Yeah.
is that he was completely laser-focused on getting the job done, not on soaking up all the accolades,
Not about the praise.
not about feeding his ego.
Right.
It was about achieving the mission,
Interesting.
this grounded approach to aspiration, to putting the work
Yeah.
before the reward.
Yeah.
That's a key
I
insight
see what you're saying.
that we can all apply.
Yeah.
So if we take that
Mm-hmm.
and we apply it to our own lives,
Yeah. How does that look?
it's like saying, okay, I'm excited about this goal,
Right.
but I'm going to focus on the daily grind,
The nitty gritty.
the nitty-gritty
Yeah.
of actually making it happen,
Uh-huh.
instead of getting caught up in how great it will be
Right.
when I succeed.
It's shifting your mindset from look at me
Okay,
to look at what needs to be done.
focus on the task at hand.
Exactly.
And it's not always easy.
It's not.
And that's where Holiday's personal story comes in.
Oh.
He talks about dropping out of college at 19,
Mm-hmm.
chasing these exciting opportunities,
Yeah.
finding quick success,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually hitting a wall.
I see.
It's almost like he's saying,
Yeah.
hey, I get it. It's tempting to buy into the hype,
Mm-hmm.
but here's why that can backfire.
It's a great reminder that early wins
Yeah.
don't always equal lasting achievement.
That's a good point.
He contrasts his experience with Upton Sinclair,
Okay.
who literally wrote a book called I, Governor of California,
Oh, wow.
before he even won the election.
Oh, my gosh.
Celebrating prematurely, letting ego take center stage,
Yeah.
can seriously stall progress.
So what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
early on, it's crucial to stay focused on the work,
Yeah.
almost like you're building a foundation
Okay.
before you start putting up the walls and the roof.
Right.
And even if you have some early wins,
Mm-hmm.
don't let them inflate your ego.
Don't let it go to your head.
Stay grounded.
Right. And this brings us to another important point he makes about passion.
Okay.
He actually argues that unchecked passion can be blinding.
Interesting.
He uses the example of the Segway. Remember that?
Yeah. I remember thinking it was going to change the world.
Yeah. So much hype.
Yeah, so much hype.
But ultimately, a flop.
Total flop.
So how do we make sure
Yeah.
that we're not letting passion lead us down a dead end?
That's a good question.
His point is
Yeah.
that passion needs to be tempered with clear-headed thinking.
So it's like passion plus a plan?
Yes.
Okay.
He uses the rush to war in Iraq
Okay.
as another example,
Uh-huh.
showing how impulsive action, driven by emotion rather than reason,
Yeah.
can have disastrous consequences.
That's a great example.
He advocates for disciplined action over blind enthusiasm.
So it's about having passion, but also having a healthy dose of reality.
Yeah.
Making sure that our actions align with both.
You need to be excited, but also realistic.
And thoughtful.
I
like that.
This leads us to one of his most intriguing concepts.
What does that mean?
He calls it the canvas strategy.
Canvas strategy.
It's about shifting our focus from seeking recognition to supporting others.
So instead of demanding the spotlight, you're creating a space for others to shine.
Exactly.
Tell me more.
The canvas strategy is all about making other people look good, providing support, and clearing a path for them to succeed.
So almost like instead of demanding to be the star of the show, you're the stage manager.
That's a great way to put it.
Making sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah.
And that everyone has what they need to perform their best.
That's it. I love that analogy.
It takes the pressure off of needing to be in the spotlight.
Right.
Allows you to focus on helping others succeed.
And everyone benefits.
Exactly.
So Holliday uses some examples to illustrate this.
He does.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yes.
He started his writing career by anonymously contributing pieces
to his brother's newspaper.
So he was focused on what?
Honing his craft.
Yeah.
Not on claiming credit or seeking fame.
Just putting in the work.
And then there's Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
The mastermind behind the New England Patriots dynasty.
What about him?
He spent years working behind the scenes, taking on these unglamorous roles.
Really?
Learning from others.
Wow.
Before becoming the head coach.
Interesting.
So these examples highlight a crucial point.
What's that?
That early success is often about finding ways to be useful. Contributing to something larger than yourself, rather than chasing that individual glory.
So it's about being a team player. Even if it means taking a back seat.
Yeah, doing the less glamorous tasks.
And sometimes it also means exercising restraint. Especially in the face of adversity.
Ooh, that's tough.
Think about Jackie Robinson. Who broke baseball's color barrier.
Yeah, incredible story.
He faced unimaginable racism and humiliation.
I can't even imagine.
But he chose to focus
on his goal.
On his goal of integrating baseball.
Powerful.
He held back.
Yeah.
He didn't react impulsively.
Wow.
And that restraint allowed him to achieve something monumental.
That's such a powerful example of how ego can kind of manifest in our reactions.
Sometimes the hardest thing is to stay calm when we're being attacked. Or treated unfairly.
But like Robinson showed us, restraint can be a superpower.
It really can be.
But sometimes the biggest battle isn't with those external forces, but with the chatter inside our own heads.
Oh, that inner critic?
Yes. Holliday warns against overthinking and getting caught up in self-aggrandizing or even self-loathing narratives.
Interesting.
He uses another Civil War general, George McClellan, as a cautionary tale.
What happened with him?
Well, McClellan was brilliant. But he was also plagued by inaction and self-absorption.
Ah, I see.
He was so convinced of his own greatness that it actually paralyzed him.
Wow.
He became so obsessed with his image and his reputation that he failed to make crucial decisions.
Oh, no.
Ultimately costing lives.
It's like he was so afraid of failing that he didn't do anything.
It's like he froze.
Right.
And Holliday contrasts this with General George C. Marshall, who was instrumental in orchestrating the Allied victory in World War II.
Wow, big shoes.
And Marshall deliberately chose not to keep a diary during the war.
Interesting. Why?
He believed it would make him too self-conscious.
I see.
And too ego-driven in his decision-making.
So he was saying, if I'm too focused on myself and how I'll be perceived, I won't be able to make the best decision.
For the greater good.
Exactly.
And sometimes just being aware of that tendency to overthink, to get caught up in our own heads, that can be a huge step.
Just the awareness
towards managing our ego.
Yeah.
It's like that saying, don't believe everything you think.
Oh, that's good.
Sometimes we need to step back from our thoughts and get some perspective.
And finally, Holliday reminds us that talent is just the starting point.
Oh, okay.
Success requires constant effort.
Yeah.
Continuous learning.
Okay.
A willingness to push beyond our comfort zones.
And he tells the story of Kirk Hammett.
Okay.
The lead guitarist from Metallica.
Now this is where it gets interesting.
Right. What does a rock star have to teach us about ego?
Well, even after joining Metallica, and achieving massive success.
Huge success.
Hammett sought out rigorous instruction from Joe Satriani, a legendary guitar virtuoso for 2 years.
Wow, so even at the top of his game,
Yeah.
he was still hungry to learn and improve?
That's a powerful example of how ego can limit us if we think we've made it.
Yeah.
And we stop pushing ourselves.
It all comes back to maintaining that student mindset.
Absolutely.
That humility to acknowledge there's always more to learn.
Always more to learn.
No matter how successful we become.
That's key for all of us.
Yeah, no matter what field.
Doesn't matter.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From avoiding early pride.
Yeah.
To finding ways to support others. Practicing restraint, quieting that inner critic, embracing continuous learning.
It's all about keeping that ego in check.
Especially during that aspiration phase.
Yeah, that beginning phase.
To be present.
Yeah.
To be receptive.
Be open.
To focus on the work.
Put in the work.
And to understand that true success is built on a foundation of humility and consistent effort.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
These are powerful lessons for anyone starting out.
In any field.
But what happens when we start to actually taste success?
Ooh, good question.
How do we navigate those new challenges that come with achieving our goals?
Right, because that's a whole other beast.
That's what we'll be diving into next.
So you've climbed that mountain, you've reached a certain level of success.
You'd think it would be smooth sailing from here.
You would.
But this is where things can get
really tricky.
Really tricky.
Now you're dealing with a whole new set of temptations.
Yeah.
And ego has even more ways to sneak in and mess things up.
It's almost like it's a whole new playing field.
It is.
With new traps.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we navigate that?
Well, Holiday reminds us success isn't a destination.
Okay.
It's a journey.
That's a good point.
And even when you've achieved a lot, you can't afford to stop learning and growing.
He uses Bill Walsh again here.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of illustrate this point.
Okay, the coach.
Yeah, this is the guy who coached the 49ers to Super Bowl victory.
Wow.
But even he refused to buy into the hype.
About himself.
About his own genius.
So he understood.
He really got it.
That true success isn't about crafting this glamorous story about yourself. Okay.
But about consistently delivering results.
So it's not about the story you tell.
Yeah.
It's about the work you do.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's about focusing on the details.
Okay.
On the day-to-day grind. And constantly striving to improve.
So like always pushing yourself.
Always pushing yourself. He called it building a
standard of performance.
Standard of performance.
I like that.
Yeah, it's catchy.
It is.
So it's like saying, okay, I've had some wins.
Right.
But I'm not going to let that go to my head.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Stay grounded.
Yeah.
I need to stay focused on the process, on doing the work.
Right.
And not get distracted by the accolades.
And this is where self-awareness becomes so crucial.
Why is that?
Because success can make your ego even louder, whispering things like, you're the best.
You're the best.
You've got it all figured out.
You've arrived.
But if you listen to that voice,
yeah,
it can lead you down a dangerous path.
It's almost like success is a trap in itself.
It can be.
Yeah?
You start chasing validation.
Okay.
You start comparing yourself to others.
Yeah, you get caught up in the competition.
Yeah, and you lose sight of what really matters.
So how do we avoid falling into that trap?
It's tough.
How do we stay grounded when success comes knocking?
Well, Holiday emphasizes the importance of defining your own values and your own priorities.
So your own internal compass.
He calls it knowing what's important to you.
I like that.
It's about having that internal compass, that sense of purpose that guides you.
Regardless of what other people are saying or doing.
Exactly. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, what truly matters to you.
Your own definition of success.
It's about having the courage to stay true to those values.
Even when it's hard.
Even when they're challenged.
When you're tempted to stray.
When you're tempted to stray from the path.
Holiday then brings up this historical anecdote about Xerxes.
Xerxes.
The Persian emperor.
Okay.
Who, in a fit of rage...
Oh, boy.
Literally punished a river for destroying his bridges.
He
punished a river.
Wow.
Talk about an ego out of control.
That's something else.
What can we learn from such an extreme example?
Well, it's a powerful image of how success can breed this sense of entitlement.
Oh, yeah.
And control.
You're better than.
You start thinking you're invincible.
Untouchable.
That you can control everything, even nature.
Which is impossible.
It is.
You can't control nature.
And it's a reminder that no matter how successful we become, we're still human.
We are.
We're still vulnerable.
And if we let our ego run wild,
it can have devastating consequences.
And it's not just ancient history.
No.
Holiday brings it closer to home with Richard Nixon.
Nixon.
His analysis of Nixon's downfall.
Interesting.
Here's a guy who achieved the highest office in the land.
The president.
But he became consumed by paranoia.
And distrust.
It's chilling to think about how unchecked ego can distort reality.
It really can.
Make you suspicious of everyone.
Even your closest allies.
Yeah, your friends and family.
Nixon's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of isolation.
Okay.
And the importance of staying connected to reality.
So staying grounded.
Staying grounded because when you lose touch with reality,
you
lose touch with yourself.
So we've seen how ego can kind of sabotage us in those early stages of aspiration.
Yeah, when you're just starting out.
And we've seen how it can rear its head again.
When we achieve success.
When you're at the top.
At the top.
But what about when things don't go our way?
That's a good question.
How do we handle failure?
Yeah.
Without letting ego make things worse?
Right, because it can really spiral.
That's what I'm really curious to explore next.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen how ego can trip us up on the way up.
Yeah.
And even when we're, at the top of our game. But what about when we face those setbacks?
That's the real test.
Those inevitable moments when things just don't go according to plan.
Yeah, life throws you a curveball.
How do we keep ego from turning a stumble into a full-blown meltdown?
That's where Holiday's insights get really powerful.
Okay, I'm all ears.
He argues that failure, if we approach it the right way, can actually be an incredible opportunity for growth and self-awareness.
It's like that saying, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Exactly.
But how do we make sure we're actually learning from those losses?
Yeah.
Not just letting them crush our spirit.
Well, he kicks things off with the story of Belisarius. It's a brilliant Roman general who achieved these amazing victories, but was ultimately betrayed and forgotten by history.
Oh, wow. That's a rough deal.
It is.
What can we learn from a guy who basically got screwed over?
Right.
Despite all of his accomplishments.
Well, what's fascinating about Belisarius is that he found a sense of fulfillment in the effort itself. Not in the external validation or rewards that are often so fleeting and completely out of our control.
Like you can't always control the outcome.
You can't.
So it's like saying, I'm going to pour my heart and soul into this. Not because I'm chasing fame or fortune, but because the work itself is meaningful to me.
That's it.
I like that.
That's a powerful lesson for all of us.
It is.
Because when we attach our self-worth to outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment.
Big time.
But when we find joy in the process, in the striving, we're more resilient in the face of setbacks.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's about shifting your focus from the destination to the journey.
But even when we do achieve some level of success, how do we make sure we don't become complacent?
That's another danger zone.
Yeah, we're riding high.
Right.
And you get comfortable. Yeah, you get comfortable and then you start to slide.
Holiday reminds us that even at the highest levels, it's crucial to stay humble.
Stay humble.
And keep learning.
Okay.
He brings back the New England Patriots.
Okay.
And their unexpected success with Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah, the 6th-round draft pick.
Who turned into a football legend.
But wasn't their scouting department kind of kicking themselves
They were?
Initially for missing his potential?
Big time.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
Even after winning multiple Super Bowls with Brady, the Patriots recognized their scouting mistake.
Wow.
And used it as an opportunity to improve their process.
So they didn't let success make them arrogant?
No. They stayed open to learning.
Exactly.
So it's like saying, okay, we won this time.
Right.
But we still have room for improvement.
There's always room to grow.
Let's figure out how we can do even better next time.
That's the hallmark of a growth mindset.
I like that.
It's that constant striving to learn and evolve.
Even when you're at the top of your game.
Even when you're at the top.
Key ingredient in achieving lasting success.
Absolutely.
So how do we apply this kind of thinking to our own lives?
Yeah. How do we take these big ideas and make them practical?
How do we reframe those moments when we fall flat on our faces?
Holiday encourages us to look for what he calls our fight club moments.
Fight Club moments.
Those times when everything seems to fall apart.
Okay.
And it forces us to confront reality and embrace a new path.
You're talking about that scene where the narrator's apartment explodes.
Exactly.
It's like a symbolic destruction of everything.
Everything he thought his life was.
Right, like wiping the slate clean.
It's about recognizing those moments in our own lives.
Okay.
Those times when we're forced to let go of old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us.
So it's like saying, okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
It might be.
Maybe this is a chance to rebuild something better.
To start fresh.
Something more authentic.
And to illustrate this idea of resilience and staying true to yourself, even in the face of adversity.
That's key.
Holiday shares the inspiring story of Katharine Graham.
Katharine Graham.
Who took over the Washington Post after her husband's suicide.
She stepped into some pretty big shoes.
She did, especially at a time when women weren't exactly welcomed with open arms.
Right.
In the world of publishing.
It was a different time.
It was.
So what happened?
She faced incredible challenges.
Okay.
From sexism and self-doubt to threats from the Nixon administration during the Watergate scandal.
She was right in the thick of it.
But she persevered.
She was tough.
She trusted her instincts.
Yeah, for her.
And she ultimately led the company to incredible success.
That's so inspiring.
It's a powerful reminder that we all have that inner strength.
Yeah.
That ability to rise above challenges and achieve amazing things.
Even when the odds are stacked against us.
Even when it feels impossible.
And Graham's story emphasizes the importance of what Holiday calls maintaining your own scorecard.
Maintaining your own scorecard, what does that mean?
It's about defining success on your own terms.
Okay.
Based on your values. Not on external validation or societal expectations.
So your own definition of success.
Totally.
Not what society tells you.
Yeah, it's like saying, I'm not playing this game to impress anyone else.
Right.
I'm playing it to win on my own terms.
According to your own definition.
According to my own definition of success.
And when you approach life with that kind of mindset, ego loses its power.
You're not seeking external validation.
You're driven by something much deeper, much more meaningful.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into ego is the enemy.
It's a creep.
What's that key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
It all comes down to cultivating a mindset of humility.
Of
continuous learning. And of focusing on the efforts. Not just the outcome.
The process.
The process. It's about recognizing that ego. While it might feel like a powerful motivator.
Yeah, it can be seductive.
It can.
It can make you feel good in the moment.
But it can actually be a destructive force. That sabotages our potential.
At every stage of the game.
At every stage.
So it's like ego is this sneaky little gremlin.
I like that analogy.
That's always whispering doubts and insecurities in our ears.
Trying to throw us off track.
And keep us playing small.
But the good news is...
Oh, there's good news.
We have the power to silence that gremlin.
We do.
By understanding its tricks. And developing strategies to keep it in check.
So we're not powerless.
We're not. We can unlock our true potential.
And achieve lasting success.
That's the goal.
So here's a final thought for all of you listening out there.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if the biggest obstacle to achieving your dreams isn't the lack of talent or resources, but the stories your ego tells you?
The stories we tell ourselves.
How can you start challenging those stories? And embrace that quiet confidence.
That inner strength.
That comes from humility. Hard work, and a focus on what truly matters to you.
Remember, true success is an inside job.
Love that.
It starts with mastering yourself, with taming that ego, and letting your authentic self lead the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us.
On this deep dive.
Into ego.
Keep learning.
Keep striving.
And remember, keep that ego in check.
Couldn't agree more.